Hi, Kingdom. So, thank you for joining me again. So, I'm going to talk about when the narcissist took out an insurance policy on my daughter, on our daughter, behind my back. So, a couple of years ago, I um, he had mentioned that he wanted to, and it was out of the blue. Now, when you are dealing with these people, you when they tell you things, they throw you for a loop. Some things they throw you for a loop, but they, when you're not really conscious, you're not really paying attention, they make the story sound so believable that you don't. Stay prayed up. Stay prayed up. Don't cease. Do not cease. So he came to me and he said that he was going to take out an insurance policy on himself. So I remember saying, why are you doing that? Like, the job that I had, I had really good life insurance on everybody. And his job had really good insurance on everyone. They had like levels, different things. We took out everything just in case. There was, wasn't a lot of money. It was very, very inexpensive. Usually when the jobs offer it, it's usually very um, cost efficient. And so why wouldn't you take it out, just in case? But so he says that he's going to take out a policy on himself. And so I said, you sure you want to do that? Like, okay, like, is there a reason? And he says, no, if anything happens to me, at least I know that you guys don't have to worry. And so I'm like, I'm not understanding though, because like we have all of these policies from your job and my job. Like, what? You know how you think of something in the back of your mind and you're thinking, that's weird. That little still inner voice says to you, that's weird. But then you allow that little inner voice to just go away. You just shush it away. So I said, okay. I said, do you need me to do anything? You need my help with anything? He said, no. I think he said something along the lines of his evening job. He had two jobs. His second job, his part-time job, I think he said something about it was at a church. So I think he said something about they came and they were talking to them, and so he was gonna talk to the guys. So I said, okay. Didn't think anything of it. So he then says to me, after he takes the policy out, he says, I gave Jackson, I'm going to call him Jackson. I gave Jackson your phone number. He said, I think that you would be really good at what he does. He said he has, he recruits, and he tells me that this is my narcissist. The narcissist tells me that he gave Jackson, who is the insurance broker, my phone number, and that he thinks that I would do good at that. So I said, oh, okay. So Jackson calls me. I go meet with Jackson at his office, and there's like maybe about 8 or 9 people. There's like a little meeting. You know how they do it. They set it up, and they kind of have a presenter, and they tell you how everything works. And so it's like a bunch of people, and they're all listening, and they're trying to figure out how everything works. They ask questions, we ask questions, write everything down. So they're trying to sell us on for us to join to become a broker. And so I left, and I think I actually thought that was quite interesting. So then Jackson calls me, I think a couple of days later, tells me, stop by the office. He'd like to talk to me, kind of pick my brain. So I go by the office. I talk to Jackson. Jackson and I actually hit it off really, really good. We start talking about God, and just great conversation. Just I sensed that he was, a God-fearing man, and just loved his family, and we laughed. He asked me, what I thought about the presentation. I told him, that I thought it would sound good. Just was quite inundated with my job at the moment, and so it was busy season, and so that I think about it and get back to him. And I hadn't spoken to him. I think I spoke to him maybe one other time. I think he called me maybe a month later, just to check on me. And I told him, I was still thinking about it, and that I was in my busy season at work, and inundated with work. So just super, super busy with work. And then, getting off of work and picking up the kids, coming home, cooking dinner, the whole everything. So maybe I want to say after I hadn't spoken to him, after last time I spoke to him, I think maybe about 3 months later, 2 months later, 3 months later, maybe somewhere around there, between 2 and 3 months, I saw he had called me, but I didn't get to answer it because I was working. So then maybe a week, 2 weeks later, I was just leaving work, rushing to get my daughter, and he calls me. This Jackson calls me, and Jackson says, hey, I'm just checking in, just waiting for that paperwork. He's saying he hasn't seen or spoken to my narcissist. So he goes, I'm waiting for the paperwork. I'm like, paperwork? What paperwork? And he says, for the life insurance policy for your daughter. He said my daughter's name. I said, huh? What are you talking about? I said, Jackson, what are you talking about? He says, Lawrence came by and said, that he wanted to take out a policy on Angel, my daughter. I'll call my daughter Angel. Wanted to take out an insurance policy on Angel, and but I hadn't spoken to him in a month. I'm calling him and he's not answering, so I'm just waiting for the paperwork. So I was like, I'm sorry, but I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? I was like, when did this happen? And he says, oh, this was probably, he said, about a month ago. I said, Jackson, you have thrown me for a loop. I said, I have no idea what you're talking about. I said, he's never mentioned anything to me. And I have a question. I said, did he take one out on me? And Jackson says, oh God. He said, you're scaring me. I said, you're scaring me. I said, because I don't know anything about a policy for my daughter. So he says, I said, no, I said, Jackson, do me a favor. If you get paperwork back and it has my signature on it, do me a favor, call me. I said, because I'm not signing it. I said, can we agree on that? He said, yeah, we can. I said, okay. Maybe about 2.5 weeks later, I get a call from Jackson. Jackson says, change your plans. I said, excuse me? He said, change your plans. But what I know now, which I didn't know then, but I kind of put things together. I strongly believe that Jackson called him and he answered. And Jackson told him that he spoke to me and that I said I wasn't going to sign it. Meanwhile, this whole time, I never told him that I spoke to Jackson. I still haven't told him to this day that I've spoken to Jackson, and Jackson called me to ask me for the paperwork. I've never had this conversation with him because I wanted to see if he was going to mention it to me or not. So I never brought it up because I was just holding my tongue and waiting. But it's never been a conversation because he's never mentioned it to me. So Jackson calls me back and tells me, change your plans. The policy he's going to do doesn't need your signature. So I said, can you do that? Like, how is that even possible? I'm still living. How does another parent take out an insurance policy on a child and the other parent doesn't have to sign? I think that should not be allowed. That's my opinion. I think that if both parents are coherent and living and breathing and conscious, I think that it has to be that there should be no other way, that it has to be that both parents sign. I don't think that one should be allowed without the other, but that's my opinion. Maybe it's different for me because I went through it, but anyway, that's what I think. So he says, yes, change your plans. He's gonna do one that doesn't require your signature. I said, oh, okay. I still didn't tell him that I spoke to Jackson and that Jackson told me about the policy. So I just waited and waited. And then there were some other things going on, some disgusting things that I'm going to share, but not on this one. So I just decided that I am going to um, just stay quiet. So I stay quiet. And so I don't tell him. And so I called Jackson and I said, did that ever go through? And he said, yeah, everything's been final. I said, okay. This man is never, to this day, ever, this man is never to this day ever said to me that this is what I'm doing. So there was some other things going on, and this is where the point where I had decided that I was gonna move out because I felt it was a very scary environment. I was in fear of my life, and I said, no, there's something going on. So I had to make a decision. So I decided that I was going to start looking for somewhere to live. So I told him, I said, I'm not happy with how things are going, and I'm gonna start looking for a place. He said he doesn't care. I don't care. I said, okay. And then one day, when I told him I found the place, I think that he didn't believe me, I guess, because I'd taken a lot of crap, and I've never said I was leaving and actually left. So when I told him that I found a place, he said, you found a place, where are you going? I said, I've been telling you so throughout the whole process before I started looking for a place, I told him I was going to look for a place. While I was looking for a place, I told him I was looking for a place. I told him every step of the way, so that in my mind, so that it wasn't a surprise to him, that he was aware of what was going on, and it was all because of the disgusting behavior and the things that was going on that I wasn't happy with, and that there needed to be some changes. So I remember when I told him that I had found a place, he said, where are you going? I said, I've been telling you that I'm leaving. I'm telling you every step of the way. And like, haven't you been listening? And he was like, why are you leaving? I said, why am I leaving? I said, I'm leaving because you called my father and threatened to kill me if you had a bad day at work. You kicked my son out of the house. You were out of control. You took out an insurance policy on our daughter behind my back. His eyes went like, I said, something's not right. He was like, I said, why would you do that? Why would you take out a policy on her behind my back? Why would you do that? He said, she's my daughter and I could do what I want. I said, okay. Okay. All right. So, wrong and strong, in a space that you can't say, okay, maybe I overreacted. This is why I did what I did. No, just very boldly, like, I could do whatever I want mentality. Okay, well, since you feel that way, then I guess you and yourself can do whatever you want, because me and my kids, we're out of here. And I did move out. I moved out. But I'll tell you what happened after moving out. But I still don't know why he took out the insurance policy, but I kind of have an idea, but I'll save that for another video. I hope you're enjoying these videos. Like, subscribe, comment, follow, and I wish you all the blessings and stay happy, be a blessing, and remember you're a part of the kingdom. Blessing.